Got it. Well, on the way back from Emerald Downs Casino, Seahawks 49ers viewing party. Had a great crowd here, as you might have seen if you were watching my live stream. There we go. Some bad connectivity here. But, and thanks Goozle Boss, tuning in, King Jim, or Jim. It's a bummer of a missed opportunity to just take care of business now, and then you can just kind of take it a little easy the last couple games, I suppose. Maybe it's just more for the fans. It's easy for us to not stress out about it. But it would have been nice to have gotten the sweep on the Niners. And so close. These are one of those games where you can look back and there's 100 different things you could say, well, if this had happened, it would have been different. If this had happened, this would have been different. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. They didn't call that. They didn't throw the flag on this. If he'd made the extra point, I mean, you can go back and dissect a million things that could have changed the outcome of that game. I mean, anytime you have an overtime game where it's down to the wire like that, every you can just collect any number of single plays that change the outcome of that one. And if you look at the stats, we played pretty well. Russell Wilson had a decent game, decent completion rates, no interceptions, 2 touchdowns, good quarterback rating, rushed the ball a little bit too. And, if you'd looked at that, you would have thought, oh, that sounds like a winning formula. The defense gave up probably too many completions, long completions in the first half. But, you look at that kick return for touchdown, that thing weighs heavy. Because we come down, we score right away, and it looks like we're going to dominate this game. We miss extra points, and you're going, okay, it's okay. If we keep playing like this, it won't matter. Then right away, they come back, take the lead with a touchdown kickoff return. And that's one of those plays where it takes a little bit of luck, let's be honest, to get a kick return these days for a touchdown. I hadn't seen one all year. That might have been the first kick return I've seen this entire season. And of course, it has to come against my team, my Seahawks. And that was one of the big touchdowns that made a difference in this game. When it's only a 23-20 game, win by field goal, that one touchdown that happens in 10 seconds changes the entire complexion of the game, because you don't count that as it's not a failure on offense, it's not a failure on defense. It's a blown situation on special teams that for just a second somebody didn't do their job, or for a second somebody just wasn't in the right spot, and boom, they're gone. So you take that touchdown away, it's only a 16 point scored by their offense, and normally I'd say that's enough to win. But I never like to blame the refs, because it sounds like a real wimpy whiner kind of way to come out of it, looking for excuses. But we had so many plays that were conversions in the fourth quarter and in overtime that had any of those plays stood, we would have been still driving and possibly going in for a game-winning or game-leading field goal or any number of things. But just those penalties just happened at the worst possible time. And Tyler Lockett's decision to bring it out, I didn't want him to do that. I really thought, given the conditions, and all game he had sat on it, he resisted the temptation to take it out. And I thought, especially with the rain coming down as hard as it was, I thought, this is probably better. Just take your 25-yard line start and give yourself a nice breathing room area to start from. And he took that ball out, and man, almost fumbled it, and he was lucky to get it back. The ball luckily bounced in a straight line and got it back, but it started us off at our 12-yard line, and that just made it for a really tough, long way to go. Instead of going 75 yards, you got to go, 87. You just basically tacked on another, 15, 12 yards or so to your already tough burden there. And then the holding call after a first down carry brought it back and made it for long. And then we were punting deep out of our, deep in our territory. Michael Dixon though boomed that thing out there, but we couldn't hold him. We couldn't hold him when it mattered. And I will say, the one call I do disagree on heavily was the pass interference on Shaquille Griffin. I mean, that was really the dagger. The holding calls, you see the replay and you go, okay, yeah, he kind of grabbed Jersey there. My issue with that, with the holding, is that there's a lot of plays on the other side that I saw doing pretty much the same thing, and they didn't throw the flag. So if you're going to throw the flag one way, you got to throw the flag the other way. That's my only thing. It's fine if you want to call holding, but call holding evenly. That's my only issue. Be consistent. That pass interference on Shaquille Griffin, I didn't see it enough times to see whether he really did interfere with him. I didn't see anything that made me think that it was a blatant call. I thought it was a good play, but that pretty much put them right at the edge of field goal range, and all they had to do was, get a few more yards, and then they did that and more. And that pretty much was the dagger, because at that point, prior to the pass interference, we had them. We had them with a potential stop around the corner, and that pretty much ended the game for us right there. So that's the one call I have beef with, because I did not see it. I disagree with that call, and that's a huge one that had to go against us. Chris Carson ran for over 113 yards, something like that. The running game was fine, 100-yard rusher. I'll take that anytime, and normally that's going to be enough to be at least in a position to win, and we were in a position to win. So running game was getting it done, even though it was tough sledding in the beginning. The Chris Carson run, man, when we went for it in fourth down, I was really not sure if that was such a good idea. He was stopped for like a 1-yard loss, and somehow he just kept fighting and stretched ahead to get that ball over the end zone. Doug Baldwin too, on his catch, on his second touchdown catch, did the same thing. And so the guys were putting maximum effort. Carson just looking like beast mode in his own right, getting that touchdown. That was awesome. So there was a lot of great plays, and I want to remember those, because it's so easy to get caught up in the loss and forget about all the good things you did, and only focus on the bad ones. So we had some great plays in there, and really enough to win the game, and we were just short at that much. Every close game that's a loss in overtime, or a loss by less than a score or one score, is going to always be that way. And it takes a little bit of luck. I've said that before. We've had some luck on our side when we've had some of these close wins, and it takes a little bit of bad luck to lose a game like this too. But a buddy of mine, Jeff, texted me, and he was a real negative Nelly during the offseason, thinking we had no chance of going anywhere this season. And he's definitely become a more believer of the Seahawks as of late. And he even said this game we played well enough to win. We were the better team as a whole. But sometimes even being better isn't enough. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Better to be lucky than better, I guess is a way to put that. But I guess to look at this on the flip side is it's going to make these last two games a hell of a lot more interesting than it would have been if Seattle won, clinched, and then we had a guaranteed 5th seed going into the next two games. It would have been nice for the heart, for the ease of stress, to not have to worry about it. But now the last two games, we got to play all the way through the season. Every game's going to count. And these, I don't care who we're playing, it's not going to be easy. The Chiefs, we already know, is a tough team. They're upset that they blew that lead against the Chargers, and now are fighting for their own playoff seeding lives themselves. But so are we with, these games, the Vikings winning their game. That keeps them right on our heels. The Eagles, the Rams could do us a favor and knock the Eagles out, and that would take care of one more team to take them out of the equation. And then I think all that's left would be tomorrow is to have the Panthers lose to the Saints. And I think that would almost guarantee that we'll have a spot in the postseason. But try not to think too much about that right now. I just want to, we've got to it'd be good to get one more of these wins here. And really good to get a win against the Chiefs, not only for the playoff purposes, but just to go against one of the best teams in the NFL. And if we could find a way to beat those guys, the confidence, the feeling of, hey, this could be a Super Bowl contending team, and if you could take care of these guys, man, what that would do for the morale, for the momentum of this team going forward would be huge. The last thing I want to see is having to beat the Cardinals at home on the last game of the season with playoffs on the line, knowing how the Cardinals have given us fits and troubles in the last game of the season, year after year after year. Even the year we went to the Super Bowl, they were a pain in our butts, beating us at home. They have been, for some reason, when the Cardinals come to our house, they are just a pain. They are hard to beat for whatever reason. Like a zombie, man, in a bad horror movie. Just keep on coming, taking you down. You just can't take them out. Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. So to win next week would be huge, and we could do it. They're gonna have to clean a few things up. That performance on pass defense against those tight ends in the beginning of the first half was horrible. And if you're gonna do that against the Chiefs offense that like to work the tight ends, especially to, what's his name? Is it Kelsey? I think that's what it is. We're gonna have some troubles. So we better get our stuff together as we prepare for this Chiefs game. Read all the comments here. I can't while I'm driving, so I'll have to take a look at them later. But give me your thoughts on the game, what you saw. For you Seahawks fans, what do we need to do to clean things up? What are you concerned about? Are you concerned? Are you feeling confident that we are going to get the playoffs? It just definitely complicates the playoff picture right now. But thank God the other teams have been just tripping over themselves, self-destructing. Packers, Panthers, Eagles. Thank goodness they've been not performing well. Giving us a nice little cushion, a little breathing room to make a couple of missteps on the way down to the end as we close out the season. But it'll be fun. Next week, got prime time, Sunday night football at home. That game is going to be off the hook. I mean, that might be one of the most hyped games of the year. I mean, that game against the Vikings was pretty hyped up on Monday Night Football, but Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs, this could be really, really crazy. Have no idea the kind of sense of what this ball game is going to look like, but hopefully we can get some guys back. I feel like we're missing Fluker in there. Way too many holding penalties. Couple on what's his name? Number 64. Spacing out on his name. You know what I'm talking about. Left guard. Also on Ifedi. We had a couple of unsportsmanlike, or the one sportsmanlike. I'm surprised Coleman didn't get kicked out of that game. But that stuff just can't happen. I mean, you're just giving freebie yards. Gotta keep our composure. I was really hoping I was gonna be able to bust out with my little surprise playoff song, Christmas holiday song, live here at the event, but alas, not the case. So I have to wait until we lock it up, until we get that playoff seed, playoff berth locked up, which will hopefully be in about a week. So give me more time to work on it anyway. So I'm not too upset about it. I'm holding confidence that we're going to get it done. in one of the next 2 games. But it's frustrating. Frustrating to be that close. And the 49ers streak's over. And I hate to say it. I mean, I corrected myself. I predicted at the beginning of the year in my prediction music video, that we were going to lose to the 49ers. I never thought it was actually going to happen after what happened to the 49ers season with Garoppolo going down and the way that their season unfolded. I thought for sure we'd get this win. But that kind of, if my prediction video is too darn accurate, it's been pretty close. That 10-6 that I predicted might be a lot closer than I thought. I mean, I predicted down the stretch a loss to the 49ers, and then we beat the Chiefs and we beat the Cardinals to go 10-6. And if we do that, I'll be spot on for the first time ever. Not necessarily every game called right, but to finish 10-6 and let the last, how many number of games we got that we've played, I'd be pretty darn amazingly accurate. So, which really doesn't mean much, because accuracy in a prediction is basically like throwing darts at a dartboard. I mean, you just never know. It's just total luck. But hey, I can brag about it and say, look at me. I got the schedule, the win-loss record predicted right. But we got to get there, and we got to win both games to do that now that we're 8-6. So 10-6 is the best we can do. And I said that's what we need to do to get to the playoffs. So everything is holding out as expected. Seabass. Yeah, I missed that extra point, but then he did make a long field goal later on, made an extra point later, so I don't put blame on him. It happened so early that we had enough time to adjust to the error, you know what I'm saying? You know, every error, yeah, it could be measured the same, but it's when they happen also. The game plays out, and that error just becomes part of your ball game the rest of the way. And so you just deal with the most, you know, with what's in front of you, which is we were tied up with a chance to you know, ball in our hands, first drive of overtime to win the game, and we didn't do it. You know, for whatever number of things you want to put your, you know, blame on. Execution, Lockett returning it out, dropping the ball, holding penalty, all those things. Still sucks though. 'Cause you have to hang for the week. This is my thing. I'm sure you guys are the same way. Because when your team wins, the best part about winning, besides just feeling good about the win, is you get to watch the whole week and go to NFL.com and all these different websites and all the different ESPN talk shows and hear everybody talking about how great your team was, how they pulled it out, how they did this and did that. And then when you lose, all you got to hear about is how bad you are, what you did wrong, and they forget about all the good stuff that you did because they focus on the negative story. So now we're going to hear all about, you know, our pass coverage was bad, and Janikowski's, you know, misses were bad, and you know we couldn't get a game-winning drive when we needed to, and the defense couldn't make a stand when we had to. And that's all you're gonna hear, and you know we're gonna drop in the power rankings and all that stuff. I mean, it's so much fun to go through a week when you get to just read all the positive headlines and watch your number rise up, and then read about how we clinched the playoffs and all the good stories about Pete Carroll, Coach of the Year, and all this stuff go in your direction. Then you lose, and it all goes down the toilet. Even though it's one field goal away from going the other direction, suddenly the narrative is a completely different thing. And it sucks. I don't even want to read out the stories because it's just not going to be anything fun to read about until we get back on the winning track. So that's the sucky part about losing. Is the fact that you got to deal with it and hang with it for another 7 days until Sunday night. You don't get a chance to rinse your mouth of the net. Sunday Night Football next week. Patrick Mahomes and that very wild offense of the Chiefs. Their suspect defense. going against us, and hopefully the best of us shows up next week. So in front of the nation on Sunday Night Football, hopefully we can put on a show and show the world that we deserve to be in the playoffs, that we can beat anybody in the playoffs. Because hey, you know, every good team has a bad game. I mean, look at the Saints playing a stinker against the Cowboys, or the Rams losing ugly in Chicago. You know, and we lost to I think 49er team that's they're better than their record shows. And we had our stinker game. And it wasn't even a stinker of a game. It was a close game. We just lost to a team that when you look on paper, you go, we lost to a 2-10 team. Or whatever the record was prior to this. But shake this one off, and hopefully next week come back home to the comfy, cozy confines of CenturyLink Field, and hopefully it'll be all good. All right, that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys watching, and let's get it done next week. Playoffs still within our grasp. 5th seed still within our grasp. So let's do it. All right, have a great week, you guys. I guess Christmas will be after the Chiefs game, so I don't have to wish you all Merry Christmas yet. But happy holidays. I hope you guys are having a good one, and I'll be talking to you later on in the week. All right, thanks for watching. Appreciate it very much. Let's go get them. Go Hawks.